We had reached the outer arms. Everything appeared normal, except for the large patches of space devoid of stars. And at the center of the void sat the small moon to an utterly destroyed planet. The planet was shattered into many pieces, but still rotated like a planet, and its small moon did the same. According to the ship's coordinates, that moon was our destination. Once I felt the ship make landfall, I rushed to the cargo bay, where the female Earthling waited patiently for me. She was decked out in her usual attire: guns, knives, hood, lumalights, etc. She also wore a long rope from her belt, but for what reason, I had no idea.
We should be able to breathe normally out here. You ready?
Yes. Though, I'm unsure what exactly we are doing.
Spelunking.
She removed the small gun from the weapon cabinet.
Take this.
Oh, what should I do with it?
Put it in your pants and don't shoot yourself.
She punched the plunger, lowering the cargo bay door. All around stretched a sea of red grass that danced in rhythmic waves across the landscape. Even the sky held a reddish hue, and 3 dull suns chased each other across the sky. The air was humid and sweet-smelling.
Over here.
I hopped onto the surface and sunk slightly into the spongy sand. It seemed as if the ground was saturated with a layer of water.
Dean.
I sloshed through the moist grass as the female Earthling removed a vehicle from a side compartment of the ship. It was a small bike composed of 1 large wheel, handlebars, and a seat. Seems too small for both of us to fit on. She yanked another, clearly older version of the bike from the ship's compartment and stood it nearer me.
This one's yours. The parking gyro is broken, so be careful.
I held the strange bike steadily while trying to figure out how to get my leg over the seat.
Squeeze the left handle to make it go,
she said, hopping onto her bike.
The harder you squeeze,
the faster you go.
Exactly.
And how do you stop?
Apply pressure with your thumb. Same rules apply.
I swung my leg over the seat, doing my best to keep from tipping. Is it on?
It's always on. Stay close.
Oh, what if we see someone? She slipped her goggles over her eyes.
All I picked up was plant life, but keep your eyes opened.
I removed the goggles off my handlebars and strapped them around my head. They were snug on my large eyes, but I managed to make them work. The female Earthling rolled a few feet in front of me, looked back, then gunned off into the grassy field. I lagged a bit behind, but soon I grew confident enough to take in the scenery as I cruised across the red furry orb. As we moved ahead, the fields of grass gave way to smooth boulders and what looked like red moss. Further on, the boulders and moss grew to epic heights, and before long, massive towers of moss climbed high above our heads, blocking most of the sun's light. Shadows grew long, then faded into the darkness as we sped deeper into the thick moss forest.
Lights!
I searched and found the switch for the small light set in front of the bike.
Getting close!
Up ahead, 3 enormous stone spires jutted far into the sky, piercing the mossy canopy above. Each stone curved toward the other, nearly touching high above the ground, with clumps of red grass and moss dangling from their tapered edges. Is this it? She did not respond. The ground grew soggy, like a sponge left in a bucket, causing my tire to spin out and spray everything around me with droplets of cool water as I rode along.
Stop here.
The female Earthling and I rested our bikes against one of the large stones, and we carefully sloshed our way toward the center of the enormous rock spires. Is this what we are looking for?
Almost.
In front of us lay a massive circular stone with a large hole at the center. Ankle-high water flowed lazily over the smooth stone rim and disappeared into the dark abyss of the hole. The hole was much too wide to leap across, and was clearly constructed by someone or something. The female Earthling stepped up onto the smooth stone and scanned the hole with her wrist.
I think we found the well, but I can't get a depth reading.
Maybe it's bottomless. The female Earthling studied the moss canopy overhead. There was a substantial-sized hole in the moss just above the well, allowing a clear view of the red sky above. She unraveled her rope, shoved the loose end into the barrel of her rifle, and fired it into the air. The rope sailed past the moss canopy, toward the tapered stone spire above, missed, then plummeted back down and splashed into the watery moss.
New plan.
She unclipped the Lumalite from her belt and shined it around the well.
It's too dark. Dean, get over here and help look.
Water flowed into my boots as I shimmied closer to the well's edge and peered deep into the abyss. I don't see anything. She waved the light around, leaning so far over the edge, it made my stomach turn. Please be careful. She leaned further, then tossed the Lumalite into the well. The light lit up the well, but only briefly, as it sailed deeper into the dark abyss.
I caught a glimpse of the far side. Looks like brickwork, for the first 30 feet or so.
She backed up, which I immediately did as well. Well, what's the plan?
We climbed down.
But there's no place to tie off. The rocks are too far away. She wrapped the rope around her waist.
One goes in, the other holds from out here.
But I'm not sure I can hold you. The female Earthling looked at me.
That's why you're going.
Oh dear. I wanted to tell the female Earthling about Tiku, and how I could send my little fog friend down to investigate for us, and how the rope would most likely be unnecessary. I should have told her, but I didn't. She tied the rope around my waist and checked the knot twice. I tried to convince myself it might not be so bad. It wasn't that much rope, and if you subtracted what was lost for each knot, a few feet for when she stood back, a little for shrinkage from being wet.
I'm waiting,
she said, interrupting my thoughts. I sat at the rock's edge and carefully slid my butt towards the well opening. Water rushed into my pants as I shuffled closer. I was terrified. What if something was waiting in the dark? What if her hand slipped? What if...
Go.
I took 3 quick breaths, twisted my body around, then shimmied over the edge. Water poured over me as I dangled helplessly inside the well.
Look up.
The female Earthling dropped 2 Lumalites down to me, but I missed both.
Try again.
I caught the third light and waved it around. The walls were constructed of small bricks, stained red from the water. They were cool to the touch and didn't appear to be made of the same stones as outside the well. Bricks! Red-stained bricks!
Nothing below?
Nothing I could see. She nodded, then disappeared behind the well's edge.
Hold on tight.
Deeper I slid into the well. All around me, the same red-stained bricks. There were no roots pushing through, no decay, only the occasional tufts of red grass and moss clung to the sides. Nothing yet. Further down, the cool breeze that once flowed in from above faded, and the air grew warm and musty. But as I delved deeper, the well construction seemed the same. Red bricks, occasional tuft of moss or grass, and no monsters. So far. I nervously shouted up the well. Hello? I could barely make out the female Earthling's outline as she leaned over the edge.
You find something?
No. I just wanted to know if you could see me.
Not so much. Shake the rope if you need help.
Further I went. The air grew very warm and quite damp. I was scared, but I kept searching, and in my eager attempt to find the bottom, the Lumalite slipped from my wet hands, bounced off my boot, and plummeted into the depths below. I watched helplessly as the light faded. I was alone in the dark. Then the rope stopped. The female Earthling's voice floated down to me.
End of the line.
I dangled in the darkness, blind and helpless. Then, I thought of Tiku.
Give me a moment.
I held my breath and contacted my little fog friend. A shaky vision appeared in my head. It was the female Earthling, her boots dug into the side of the stone, holding the other end of the rope tightly. Tiku zipped over her head and down the well, and I caught myself in my own mind as Tiku flashed by. Then all went black. I wasn't sure whether I lost him, or if it was simply too dark to see.
See anything?
Just making sure. Faster, I thought. There must be a bottom. Black on black for what seemed like forever. I was unsure if Tiku was moving at all. Then, a dim light appeared. The light grew brighter until I could clearly see the source. An old lamp dangling from a chain near the well wall. The rope dug sharply into my waist, forcing me to exhale. The female Earthling started to pull me back up. At the top, I grabbed hold of the well's edge and held myself steady.
What's the verdict?
I saw something.
What was it?
A lamp on a short chain.
So it was close?
No. She questioned me with her eyes.
Then how did you see it?
It was time to tell the truth about Tiku. She awaited my response with arms crossed.
Come on. You can do it.
I may have opened a very small crate in my room.
And
borrowed...
Stole?
Stole?
Did you pay for the use of the Porwellian polarization probe?
Well, no, but it was an accident. The female Earthling collected the loose rope to her side.
Whatever the case, you're now the proud owner of a Popo probe. At least until your brain dissolves the components.
I was saddened by this revelation. In a way, Tiku had become a part of me, and learning he would one day disappear was hard to swallow. But I was glad the female Earthling chose not to untie me and toss me down the well for stealing it. So, you're not mad?
Oh, I am. But you can make it up to me by finding that lamp.
I adjusted my stance near the well and took a deep breath.
Breathe shallow. It works better that way.
Do you have one too?
No, I don't trust Porwellian gadgets.
I took a few shallow breaths and instantly made contact with Tiku. I tried my best to relax as Tiku spiraled down the well at tremendous speed.
You got it?
Yes, Tiku is down there.
Tiku?
I named it. Tiku sliced through the dark until it came upon the dangling lamp. Tiku moved closer. Then, a deep booming sound rang out, shaking me from my vision. What was that?
I'm not sure.
We scanned the horizon. Another boom sent ripples through the water.
The water.
The water rose swiftly, and before I could find higher ground, it was already up to my waist. Where is it coming from? The water jumped to my neck, thrusting my feet off the ground. I paddled hard toward our bikes, but it was no use.
Must be a quick tide.
The female Earthling looked into the sky. Above, everything turned bright white as all three suns lined up overhead.
Can you swim?
A little. Clumps of grass and moss swirled around as a whirlpool formed over the well. I paddled hard, but it did no good. The swirling wall of water swelled high into the air, then funneled quickly into the well, taking both of us into the deep dark of the abyss. Help! My feet kept searching for the quick stop, some sort of bottom to it all. But we kept going. Water splashed off the well walls, making it hard to see, but the sensation of falling lingered.
We need to figure something out fast, before we hit the bottom at full speed.
The water peeled away as we fell, and soon only tiny, fast-moving droplets followed us down. The sensation of falling disappeared, and I felt like I was floating on a bubble of air. The female Earthling pointed down the well.
Is that what you saw?
I peered past my boots and spotted the lamp dangling on a chain. Yes. She tossed the rope at the lamp, but missed. I braced for impact, assuming the worst, but it never came. We kept falling. What now? The female Earthling grabbed her boot knife and sliced the rope in half, separating us from each other. Shoved the free end of the rope into her gun, aimed at the chain, fired, and missed. She shoved it back into the barrel and tried again, but it was all in vain. The lamp rushed past, then faded from view. My head beaded with sweat as the air grew hot, red hot. Water droplets turned to sizzling mist.
We must be near the center.
Center? Of what? Waves of heat rolled over me. My skin blistered and my eyes burned. The superheated air scorched my throat with each breath. Then I blacked out. Awakening, free fall, and feeling much cooler.
You okay?
I think so.
You passed out.
I looked past my feet. All was black, except for a glowing distant light at the center of the darkness. What's that? The light flashed by my face. The female Earthling reached out, just missing as it rushed past. Then another light came, but this time she caught it.
It was a Lumalite. Our Lumalites.
That's odd. Another Lumalite flew by, and again she snagged it from the air.
I'm beginning to think this well is bottomless. These are the lights you dropped.
Then we could fall forever.
Until friction slows us down and we cook at the center.
Slamming into the ground at a high rate of speed was a horrible thought, but being roasted alive sounded much worse. I preferred a quick death to a slow and painful one, but wished for neither. We had to find a way out. As I searched the well for something to stop our fall, a pinhole of light appeared below me, but this light was brighter than the Lumalites, and it was growing. Is that the other end?
We're about to find out.
What do we do?
By rights, we should pop out of the well and then fall back in.
Fresh air trickled into the well. The sense of falling returned as we slowed down. My body tensed up as the well opening grew larger. I don't like this. We fired out of the well like a bullet, then stalled far above the ground. The scenery outside was similar to that on the other side of the moon. 3 stone spires, water, moss mounds, and red grass as far as the eye could see. I fought to stop from spinning as I plummeted back into the well, spotting the female Earthling just as the well grew dark.
Welcome back.
I fell through the cool air, got roasted by the heat of the core, passed out, then spotted the lamp on the chain once more. But this time, the female Earthling was ready. She fired her rope, smacking the lamp full on. Yes! Yes! Then I noticed I was no longer tethered to her. Oh no! Falling fast, I tossed my end of the rope at the lamp, but missed. I tried again and failed. I drifted alone and defeated until my rope tugged sharply, forcing me to a hard stop.
Where are you going?
The female Earthling dragged me up to a small ledge that jutted out from the well wall. What is this place? She pointed, revealing a small cave dug into the side of the well.
Looks like someone's home.
She slipped the rifle off her back, and we cautiously made our way into the mysterious cave.